No more wimpy Christians. Okay, I have 3 minutes. Here we go. Hostility. Here we go. And he removed from thence and digged another well. This guy's going to drive them nuts just by digging wells. He'll break them down just by... Every time they saw anything that was similar to any instrument that would dig, ah! And he removed from thence and digged another well. And after that, they what? Strove not. That's the well that the church is digging right now. That's the well that you need to dig in your personal life. No matter what anybody says about you, I don't care if it's your auntie or Jack the Ripper. If it's against what God says about you, hallelujah. Don't look at me like that. I know what it is to work for a hardcore Nazi, had a big belt like this with 3 Ku Klux Klan guys on it. I went down, the Carpenters Hall sent me down for the job. It was when they were doing the big addition on the El Cortez. I walked up there and I saw that man's belt and everything, and I said, well, I'm not going to work for this guy. I took about 2 steps, and the Lord said, you will work for him. You will be the best worker. Now, see, sometimes you don't want to hear from God. I know sometimes that we cry and, oh, God, but sometimes he speaks to you real quick, and you go, really? And he says, you'll work for this man. You'll be the hardest worker. You will show up earlier than anybody else. You will take a shorter lunch than anybody else. And you will leave after everybody else. When the job was over, and he personally handed me the check. You know why he personally handed me the check? He looked at me and he said, you're different than what I thought. I said, this is my time now. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he was sharp. He looked at me and he says, you know what I mean by that. And I just smiled. And he used to eat enchiladas for lunch. And I would go, how could he hate Hispanics and have the audacity to eat those delicious enchiladas? I should be eating his lunch. That's some good stuff he's got there. But God had a work to do. I tell you what, I dug another well right inside of his heart and his head. And dug a new well in his mind. Maybe instead of complaining about your boss so much, maybe you should be the hardest worker. You think I'm lazy? You think I'm this? Sí, Señor. We are all very slow. Huh? Race got nothing to do with it. It's who you are on the inside. Yeah, Christ in you, the hope of glory. Hallelujah. I had a great white boy when I was in business that worked for me. He called me a brown boy. I called him a white boy, so, we could talk like that. He was Irish. He was trying to get away from his background of being Irish, and I was trying to get away from my background of being Cuban. We both had to kill the old flesh. And we helped one another at times. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that day served not, and he called the name of it what? Woo! Rehoboth. And he said, we don't have to go to the original Greek. Excuse me, back then it was the Aramaic, and anyway. Listen. And now the Lord hath made room for us. We've hit. Woo! The other one, they didn't strive with us, but this one, we were living on an acre, but now we're living in 900 acres. Hey! And he called the name. For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be what? You believe that? I'm going to tell you, God's attitude on this stuff is, I did it for others. I put them down as a witness. It happened. Now start believing. Start believing it for right now. For you and your children. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. You know what? Do you know what the name of Beersheba? You know what that means? Well of sevenfold oath. The number 7 in the Bible represents perfection. It's a number that separates itself from all other numbers. Because it literally is a number, but it also is a form of speech. And that's perfection. That place was named what? The well of the perfect oath. Because he swore it to Abraham, and he swore it to Isaac. Last one, Genesis 6:24. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night. You know when the Lord appears to people a lot of times? Is when the wimpiness is out of them. Fear. Listen to how God goes about fear. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power. See, love and power are together. And a sound mind. In other words, fear will drive you insane. Insane. It'll drive you insane. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night and said, the same what? Right there. That the well of the perfect oath. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night and said, I am the Lord of Abraham, the one that dug the original wells. I was with him. He dug those wells in the presence of his enemies. thy Father, what does he say? Fear not, for I am with thee. Say, do you believe God's with you? You have no idea how many meetings I walked in, and before I walk in the door, I go, God, you're with me, and I'm going to focus on you being with me. I know in one meeting, there was a chair open, and I walked in, I saw that empty chair, and I said, that's where I'm looking. I wasn't looking at the important people. I was looking at the empty chair. See that empty chair? It's not really empty. And no matter what came at me, I'll be looking at that chair, and I go, what I'm going to say is going to impress the one in the empty chair. Because my emotions aren't going to be pulled, fears, intimidation. And I kept my eye on the chair that was more full than anybody else's.